Chapter 24. Mysterious Effects in Life, Being in Present and Means to Be in Present. Introduction. Most of us mentally live in the past and think of the future, although we are in the present. But hardly anyone lives in the present. One's mind, in general, revolves around past incidents or contemplates about the future. To be in the present is a miracle, and one has to deeply learn this art. One has to practice it to become a master of this art, to be highly creative, contented, and peaceful in life. Present moment. The present moment slips out from one's thinking without fetching him any happiness, since he is not with the present moment of happiness consciously while being in this moment. Then how can he get happiness in this moment when he is not involved in this moment? He is not in the present, since everything happens in the present. One is surrounded by numerous thoughts in his mind. He is not with the activity he is engaged in. He is not conscious of the present ongoing activity. Instead, he is unconscious and engaged in activity just manually without being aware of the activity. It looks as if he is dreaming and not present with the action he is performing. Under these conditions, some misfortune can happen since he is not present consciously with his activity. He is only safe when he is consciously present and fully aware of his actions while performing his ongoing activities. Awareness is divine energy, which fully protects us in all misfortunes during our activities, past and future. One must know that the past is only in memory and the future is unpredictable. One has only the present. He must not lose it. As he loses it, it becomes the past. It goes to memory without giving him any benefit. One must live in the present. He must be aware of it. If he gets fully involved with the present moment, that is, with the present happenings, and he is aware of every incoming and outgoing breath, then only he can be immensely happy and contented. Being in the past memory and thinking about the uncertain future, one loses immense energy. However, being in the present moment, there is no loss of energy. The present moment is very narrow and short. There is no reserve of energy to be lost. The present moment is a divine moment. Being in the present, if any activity is carried out, you will find immense energy, and you will not be tired of working even for a long time, as compared to when you execute any activity unconsciously and not being with the activity consciously. That is, you are not present with the activity. This shows that energy is just wastefully spent by the mind in other thinking processes while working. Hardly the mind was present in executing the work. The mind was not present consciously in the work. Being in the present, you are in a timeless zone. You are with divine power. Energy consumption is least in the timeless zone. That is, when one is totally merged in activity, then time is not felt or experienced. This shows no time and no energy spent. However, the work is carried out. This is the mysterious mystery of being in the present in life in existence, present, the timeless zone. To be in the present is to be with the breath. Being with the breath, one enters into discontinuity of time, and this leads him to the timeless zone, and time is transcended. In other words, being with the breath, he loses track of time. He gets merged in the breath. So, being with the present, he is on the gate that transforms the future to the past. And if one stays exclusively with the present, with awareness of breath, he can witness the future instantaneously shifting to the past. Then, he spontaneously enters into the timeless zone. He can be beyond time and space. Thus, To be in the present is the existence with discontinuity in the realm of existence in continuity of life. Being in the present with breath, the mind gets annihilated, and one enters into the zone of silence. One enters into consciousness, and consciousness gets manifested. Basically, he enters into deep divinity, being in the silence zone with manifested consciousness. Present, a thoughtless state. In fact, to live in the present is most difficult. To live in the present is equivalent to controlling the wind of thoughts that is flowing at high speed without any discontinuities. This is because of the fact that living in the present is exclusively being with the mind in full consciousness. It is being in a thoughtless state. It is just to concentrate or be aware of the existing ongoing activity without having multiple thoughts of the past and future. This is against the basic nature of the mind, since the mind cannot stay at one thought. It has a tendency to slip from the present ongoing activity. The mind roams in the unbounded time, where it gets from the stored memories of the past and contemplations of the future. Mind control. But being in the present, the mind gets concentrated and gets annihilated as if it is in a timeless zone. This happens since the present moment is very small and narrow. The mind does not get the opportunity to roam aimlessly in the present. Basically, it is possible to be in the present by being with the breathing process. This needs a lot of subjective effort and practices. Furthermore, as we know, the mind is like a wind. It always moves. It is never static. It has enormous energy. To control the mind is a Herculean task. To keep it in the present and locate it, focus it, needs purely subjective control. Only when one succeeds in his efforts to control the mind, it can stay where the self desires. And if it is made to stay in the present, one can enjoy the activity he is engaged in without the loss of much energy. Being in present. Being in the present means as if one is with the being. It is similar to the situation as if the mind is consciously concentrated instantaneously. In such moments, one ought to remain in consciousness or awareness. Then, only subtle energy is poured into the human system. At this stage, consciousness is gradually manifested. As this energy is poured in, the mind's capacity increases. The mind turns from small to great, to big, to supreme mind, and thus it follows the self. Only then one is able to stay in the present effortlessly and enjoys the present. Thus, the mind ceases to jump gradually to past and future thoughts. So, by achieving the discontinuity in past and future thoughts, the mind preserves its energy that can be utilized in any creative efforts of present activity. Even if the mind is in the present, it swings like the pendulum. It cannot be static. It cannot exist when it becomes static like the clock, whose pendulum does not swing. Movements of the mind become localized without jumping here and there. A static mind is localized, but it exists. Annihilation of mind. Virtually, the mind becomes dead in static mode. It is annihilated completely when it is completely static, without even localized swinging like a pendulum. In this state, the breath is suspended, the mind is concentrated. Only discontinuity in the continuity of thoughts in the realm of existence can annihilate the mind. In this condition, when it is in the silent zone without any thought, then it draws energy from the cosmos. It is with the being. It is beyond time and space. This condition leads to manifested consciousness, mind to be made creative. However, being in the present, the mind shall always be active. It should be energetic. The whole purpose of making it static in the present is to make it big and strong, to neutralize its roaming tendencies. The present is to be explored with energy, and the present is to be enjoyed and to be made creative and useful. And this is possible by the concentration or awareness of the mind in the present. This is possible by having full control over breathing. Being conscious in breathing, the mind remains in the present, and discontinuity of past and future thoughts gets suspended gradually in the realm of continuity of existence in life. Proper use of dynamic energy of mind. The above is possible to use the dynamic energy of the mind while the mind is in the present, and it is engrossed in the ongoing activity consciously. Thus, being conscious in the process, one can effortlessly get engaged in the ongoing activity. In daily routine work of eating, walking, etc., the mind must be engrossed fully in the activity. For example, in the eating process, the mind must witness each bite and enjoy the taste of food consciously while chewing. In this way, the mind, without wandering here and there, being in the present, will enjoy the taste of food consciously. Still, while chewing, it can wander in the present horizontal plane or can wander in the past or future. By self-conscious effort, it has to put back on the activity it is engaged in. Thus, at least with some discontinuity, the mind can be kept on the process of the present ongoing activity. Only with practice will the mind learn to be in the present and will be engrossed fully with the ongoing activity. Vigilance on mind. A strong vigilance will be needed by the self-consciousness to train the mind, and then only the present moment can be enjoyed. Thus, to enjoy every moment, manifested consciousness is needed to have complete vigilance on the mind. Otherwise, it will not stay with the activity, and enjoyment of the activity will be lost. Then, the activity will be done as a mechanical process. For example, without the presence of the mind in the activity of eating, one takes food molecules and mixes them with body molecules. He does not enjoy the taste of food unless his mind is not engaged in this process. The presence of the mind will have a complete check on the continuity of past and future thoughts. Only the presence of the mind can create discontinuity in these thoughts to enjoy the present ongoing activity. Interest in activity. Furthermore, if the mind is interested in the activity, then the mind will not roam here and there. It will be engrossed. It will not feel or track the time. Time will be transcended, and one goes beyond time and space. And thus, divine energy will be cultivated, and one will not be tired of the present activity he is engaged in. But if the activity is not of interest, then it will be difficult to keep the presence of the mind in the activity. Mental energy will be dissipated by the roaming of the mind in haphazard directions, and the mind will be tired in no time, exhausting all its energy. This happens when the mind is not interested in the activity being performed. To maintain continuity in disinterested activity of the mind is extremely difficult. The mind will not remain in the present and enjoy the activity. One must take up such activities where the self is deeply interested. This will easily keep the mind in the present to get engaged fully with the desired activity. Impact of observing breathing process. In general, the mind can be concentrated easily by observing the breathing process, by witnessing the breath in and breathe out. It is more important to witness the on-off process of breath in and out. This process will preserve mental energy, and the mind will cease to roam. there will be discontinuity of past and future thoughts. With this, the breathing process slows down. The mind also slows down since it takes energy from the breath. Thus, it will help to keep the mind in the present. Gradually, if this process is continued, the subject and object will get merged. The breath is ceased. One approaches the stage of being. To be beyond time and space, self merges in being gradually. With time, the self and being become one. Transcendence of time and space. Thus, to be in the present, one can draw immense energy from the universe, and one can be self realized in due course being in the present. The mind will be merged in the self, and the self will be merged in the supernal with discontinuities. It will transcend time and space. Thus, being in the present can fetch the highest benefit to an individual. Concluding remarks. In the nutshell, being in the present, one can draw immense satisfaction, preserve energies, one can be in peace, and he can enjoy the activity he's engaged in. The present is a gateway of entry to the timeless zone. Through the present, being in the present, one can transcend time and space. Moreover, being in the present, one gets booming energy from inner consciousness. He will be relatively mentally and physically fresh throughout. He will enhance creativity, and he will be able to know the self in due course. In short, living in the present is living in being. Only the present is in our control. We must make the best use of it, being conscious, and be with the breathing as and when required. The change of the present to the past and the future to the present is a continuous, unending process till we exist. We can make the present fruitful only by being conscious. Manifestation of consciousness pours creative divine energy to manifest the happiness of the present moment. We must consciously live in the present. This will indeed enhance happiness, creativity, well-being, and longevity of life. Furthermore, no misdeed will be done by us when we are mentally conscious and live in the manifested consciousness. Certainly, by being conscious, there will be discontinuity in past and future thoughts in the realm of existence in the ongoing present life. We can very easily experience this in the realm of existence. It goes without saying by the above analysis that one can certainly enhance creativity by being in the present with full awareness. Mysterious unknown effects are experienced to be in the present in activities being executed in life. This enhances creativity in life and saves human energy. The art to always be in the present has to be practiced so as to manifest the consciousness to probe the deep mysteries of existence. This will make our journey to the abode of silence a pleasant experience.